bro, I know it's your dude. I see y'all kicking it every day, but you need to get away from him, man. He mess with them little girls on the streets, man. A few of my people here from my hometown, man, and they gonna ride on him. So if you with him, you gonna get it too, man. Don't say you ain't been warned. Now, I got to figure out a way to go and ask this big gorilla that's 6'2", 255, did he do this to this little girl? Debo, can I talk to you for a second? I feel you, bro, but they say they coming for you, man, and I can't afford to be getting no more time. I'm trying to get home to my family, bro. Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kids TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. You know, prison can be a very, very scary place. Actually, it is a very scary place. And there's all type of rules and politics that are in place. So if you've never been to prison and you don't have anybody to actually tell you the 411, it's not going to be good for you. It's going to be one of those things to where you're going to be forced to learn on your own. You know, back in 2012, I was incarcerated, and I was at the Rotary Farm. Now, the Rotary Farm, for you all not, familiar with the Rotary Farm, it's a place to where you go and you get processed. So you start off in the county jail. Once you leave the county jail, they send you to the Rotary Farm. That's in Kentucky. Every place has a Rotary Farm, but it's just called something different. In Kentucky, it's called the Rotary Farm. And you go and you get processed. That's where you go. They classify you. They do your physical exam, your medical exams, your mental evaluations, and they come up with a score. Once they come up with a score, depending on what type of crime that you've had, your past, your write-up history, they classify you, and they assign you a certain level. So if your level is a higher level, you're going behind the fence. Behind the fence means behind them walls, them lions, tigers, and bears. My particular case, my case wasn't serious, so they sent me to a lower level facility. Now, when I'm at the Rotary Farm, it's a place, it's, I want to say it's about 100-man dorms. And, you pretty much locked down all day long. Now, it's a nice-sized dorm. It's kind of like an army barracks, but it's a nice-sized dorm. Now, you have, I want to say 50 beds on the left side, 50 beds on the right side. They like the bunk beds or whatever. Everything's just steel. You got 3 or 4 phones. You got a couple tables where you can sit down and, write a letter or play cards. Or actually, they didn't allow cards, but you can play, your games, your chess, your checkers, things like that, Monopoly, Scrabble. You got a JPay machine. Couple JPay machines. A JPay machine is just a machine you can type on. So like somebody can send you emails and you can send them emails back. So that's pretty much, and at the very end of the dorm, that's where your bathroom's located at. You got maybe 5 toilets. You got the showers, 6, 7-man showers. And people often hang out in the bathroom. You got your sinks and things like that. So you're in that dorm all day long. You get an hour out for rec. And that's it. Now, you may be at the Rotary Farm. Some people stay 30 days. Some people 6 months. Some people 60 days. It just depends on your classification and the bed space at the facility that they're classifying you to go to. So, I made a dude, man. I'm going to just call him Big G. You know what I mean? I don't want to use his real name. I'm going to call him Big G. And me and Big G, man, we kind of hit it off. He was cool. Big G was about, I don't know, 6'2", at the time, 225, chiseled. I'm talking about this dude was just chiseled, man. And, he had done time before or whatever, but, he worked out. He did a whole lot of push-ups and things like that. Me, I hadn't been working out, I used to work out on a regular, but at this point, I hadn't been working out. So, Big G, he used to try to get me to come outside and work out with him or whatever. So, I never really did. I don't know. I just wasn't really into the whole workout spirit at that point. Now, I'm a guy that used to stay in the weight pile, in prior bids that I did. But this particular time, I wasn't feeling it yet. So, we was cool, man. We would eat together or whatever, program together. That's pretty much what you call it, in prison. Some people call it rec. But, just hang out, man. Talk. like I said, man, we prepare meals together, the spreads or whatever. You know, he buy some food because he had people sending him money. I had a little money coming in, so, you know, we go in on the food or whatever. And at night, man, you eat. That's what you do at the Rotary Farm. You got all those guys in there, and you got one television. So, you know, you got these people, they want to watch this. This group of people over there, they want to watch that. So they had like a TV committee. So basically you would go and vote on what you want to watch for the entire week. So therefore there was no fights over the television, and we didn't even have a remote control. So, you know, oftentimes, man, you find you a couple people that you know, just laid back and you just chill, man. You just kick it with them, man. And you know, that's how y'all get through your day. That's how you get through your bid. Play chess, what have you. So we got real cool. And I ended up getting transferred because he was going behind the fence. I didn't even know what he was locked up for. You never really ask people what they're locked up for. So he was going behind the fence, and I was going to a camp or something like at a lower level facility. So I'm there maybe 54, 55 days. My number gets called. 4 o'clock in the morning, they pack it up. That's how they do in prison, you know, at least from the Rotary Farm anyway. About 4 o'clock in the morning, they coming to get you. Man, dudes be so happy to get out of that Rotary Farm because everybody's trying to get to prison. Because prison is like, it's a lot more laid back. You know, you got a yard, you got contact visits, you can get regular haircuts, it's just so much more freedom in prison opposed to, you know, being in a county jail or even being at the Rotary Farm. Like I said, it's 23-hour lockdown. So I get transferred or whatever. And I got his information, so you can write back and forth. You have to get the warden's permission or what have you. So you can write back and forth to other inmates or whatever. I think we may have corresponded 1 or 2 times, but nothing major. About 1.5 years goes past, and I find myself getting into a little trouble. Kens being Kens, you know what I mean? I gotten into a couple fights, and it wasn't even my fault. You know what I'm saying? It was just me defending myself, but that's just how it works in prison, man. You know, if you get in a fight or whatever, that's just what it is. Both people's going to the hole or whatever. So I got in a couple fights, and I got transferred out of the facility that I was in, went to another facility, ended up getting into some trouble there. Hey, I ain't say I was perfect. Got into some trouble there, so they sent me back to prison. So when you go back to prison, you got to go back through the Rotary Farm. Go back through the Rotary Farm. You can't take anything with you at the Rotary Farm. Only thing you can have with you is some stamped envelopes, a cup, a bowl, and some pictures. That's pretty much it. So all the things that I had, my clothes, my TV, my commissary, all of those things, I was unable to take those things with me at the Rotary Farm. So I'm starting all over. I'm at the Rotary Farm. I'm there again, probably 45, 50 days. Boom, they send me behind the fence. I go behind the fence. I'm on the yard. Lo and behold, I see Big G. I see Big G. What's up, Big G? What's happening, man? So, you know, we chop it up or whatever. Chop it up. We walk the loop. In prison, man, most prisons that I've seen, they got a big old track. And it goes around the whole, like, it's like an inner loop of the prison. And so, we walk the track, man, just catching up, just talking. You know, he's telling me, you know, how things are. You know, how things have been or whatever. So at this point, we still haven't discussed this case. Now, remember I told you he was about 6'2", 225. Well, now it's been almost 2 years. By the time I actually go back to the Rotary Farm and make it to the prison, now it's dude, he's still 6'2", obviously. But he ain't 225 no more. He's about 255. He's straight, just cocked diesel, man. I'm talking about he was already big anyway. So just imagine, he been working out for nearly 2 years. This dude, man, was a monster. Long dreads. His hair was kind of wild. It was all over the place. He felt like his hair was his strength. He was one of them type dudes. Black dude, dark-skinned dude or whatever. So his hair is all over the place or whatever. You know, my hair is my strength. He got a big old beard way down here. So he, you know, he was a pretty intimidating looking dude, to say the least, in or out of prison. He definitely didn't have any problems. Nobody ran up on him. Nobody messed with him. I didn't see anything like that. A couple months goes past or whatever. We kicking it every day. I'm talking about I done got back into working out because I had already been working out at the other facility. And I'm going to tell you what made me start to work out. One dude, he seen me one day, right, before I got transferred. And he was like, dang, Kens, it looked like you done swallowed 2 midgets. And he said that, and that lit a fire under me, man. It motivated me. Talking about I look like I done ate 2 midgets or whatever. So I immediately started working out, and I started cutting weight, and muscle has memory, so it don't take long. You see what I'm saying? So 60 days, 70 days, I was back, you know. So I had already started my workout routine. So once I got there, he was already working out. Of course, I couldn't do the things that he was doing, but shoot, we was just working out. I meet him outside on the yard or whatever. We go to the child hall. You know what I'm saying? We was just wrecking. We was programming or whatever. I had a couple other dudes that I kicked it with, but I kicked it with him more so because I already knew him like that. Plus, you know, he liked to play chess. I played chess. We would go back and forth or whatever. He was just cool peeps, man. You know what I'm saying? A cool dude or whatever. So like I said, you know, a couple months goes past or whatever, we programming. And in prison, there's a new load that comes in like every week. Every week is going to be a new load of people coming in because it's constantly people getting out or getting transferred. So they're going to keep those beds filled. So it's going to be new people coming in. It might be more than once a week. So some dudes come in, man, and it's a dude that I knew from a prior facility or whatever. And I see him, you know, he sees me, we speak or whatever, but nothing major, you know. So I would say maybe about 2 weeks later, he's like, bro, let me holler at you, man. I'm like, what's up, man? You know, what's going on? He was like, hey, where you know Big G from? I'm like, shoot, we met at the Rotary Farm, man, you know, a couple years ago, whatever. We been kicking it ever since, man. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? What's happening? He was like, man, you really need to do your homework, man, and watch who you hanging around. So I'm like, well, I mean, talk to me. What are you talking about? He said, look, bro, me and him are from the same hometown. We from the same place. He's in here because he was on YouTube. He was doing inappropriate things with the 15-year-old. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, man, he was getting it in with a 15-year-old, man. I'm like, come on, bro, don't tell me that. He's like, man, look, I'm from the same hometown, dog. And a couple of my homeboys, they down here now. They had just arrived, you know, on the bus just as well. They didn't all come at once, but like I said, it had been a couple months or whatever. And, you know, you have new arrivals all the time. So he was like, hey, and they gonna ride on him, man. They gonna ride for him. So I'm just telling you, dog, if you with him, they just gonna assume that you know, believe in what he believes in, man. So I'm just letting it be known. They're gonna ride for him, dog. You might want to, you know, keep your distance. He was like, because I talked to him and I told him, man, that I knew you or whatever. You know, you're not even from my hometown or whatever. You probably don't even know the, you know, the scenario or whatever. So you may want to, you know, steer clear because they coming for him, man. So I'm like, man. So now I'm torn because people will say a lot of things. You know, pair of lips can say anything. Is this the truth? If it's not the truth, you know, why would people say it? Why would people say this, you know, and it not be the truth? So I'm torn, man. I don't really know what to do. I really don't want to approach him. Not on some scared stuff, but again, he is 6'2", about 255 at this point, man. You see what I'm saying? But not even just that. Like, this is my partner, man. See, you bond, you really get to know somebody when you're around them several hours a day, every day in prison. So everything that he talked, it was the Bible, man. You know, he spoke about the Bible. He didn't curse. He didn't do anything like it. So I seen a guy that was really trying to turn his life around. But I never asked him what he was in there for. And I never asked him how much time that he had. And he never asked me. I didn't have a clue. So, later on that day, I come outside. We walk in the loop. I'm a little apprehensive about the situation. So I tell my partner, I say, look, bro, I'm going to holler at him, man. So, you know, y'all see me with him or whatever. I'm just trying to get the, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the facts of the situation. He's like, bro, I did my job by telling you, man. So everything else outside of that is everything else, you know. But just say that you can't say that you haven't been warned, man. So I'm like, all right. So like I said, man, I don't got no knife or nothing like that, man. You know, so I'm a little shaky myself, you know, because I'm like, man, I'm walking with this dude and they run up on him 4 or 5 deep and they got knives or whatever. They trying to put it in him. Pause. then I'm right there. So I'm going to get it too. So I'm like, man, so I guess it's going to be what it's going to be, man. So, we walk in the loop and I'm like, hey, check this out, bro. Somebody approached me today, man. And, they see me and you've been kicking it or whatever. And they told me, they pretty much told me what you're supposedly or allegedly in here for. Now, just imagine, man. Just imagine. Even though this is my dude, even though this is somebody that we kick it every single day, man, for hours. Again, this dude is still 6'2", 255. So it was kind of like on, I had to figure out how to approach him. I had to figure out how to actually break it to him and ask him. You remember on Friday when they was, the movie Friday, when they was shooting dice and Stanley came up to Debo, not Stanley, but I forgot the dude's name, but he came up to Debo and he was like, Debo, can I talk to you for a second? Pop's tripping, man. He want me to come over here and ask for my bike back, man. You know I wouldn't even trip. What bike? The beach cruiser. The one I let you use a couple weeks ago. Oh, that bike. I ain't know you want it back, homie. Yeah. It'll be like both of ours. It was kind of like that, the way that I had to approach him, man. Like I said, this dude was an actual monster. So I just asked him, I said, look, bro, dude came up to me or whatever, dude that I knew or whatever, I've been locked up with, and he said that you was in here for, messing with an underage kid or whatever, and they was wondering why I kick it and hang with you every day. So I just wanted to get your side of the story or whatever. Not that you owe me a side of the story, but I just wanted to see, is that true? Is that something that... So he's like, man, nah, man, that's what I got convicted for. He said, I don't got no problem with you asking me. He said, that's what I got convicted for. I went to trial. They offered me a 10-year sentence. He said, actually, they offered me 8 years. I didn't take it. I went to trial. They gave me 10 years when I went to trial. Well, in Kentucky, they have a thing called PFO, persistent felony offender. And basically what that is a sentence enhancement. So the jury gave him 10 years. There's a second part of the trial that you go to, which is called the sentencing phase. You go to the sentencing phase. The jury sees all of your priors. Now, his priors didn't have anything to do with the actual charge that they just convicted him on. I think he had got caught with a gun one time, did another time some weed or something like that, assault. It was something like that. But once they seen his priors, they seen he was already a 2-time felon. They enhanced that 10-year sentence all the way up to 60 years. Dude ended up getting 60 years. 40 or 50 of it, I believe, was on a sentence enhancement. So it was either 40 or 50 years that the jury gave him on a sentence enhancement on top of the 10 that they had recommended. So he has all this time, and it's like, man, I'm baffled. I'm like, all this time I've been kicking it with dude or whatever, and I've been knowing dude, I didn't even know how much time that he had. 50, 60 years, man. That means he's never going home. 50 or 60 years. And the dude just constantly talked about the Bible, how much faith that he had in the Bible, how much he knew that he was going home to his kids. He was trying to speak it into existence. He's telling me the situation. Again, not that he owed me anything. He's telling me the situation about the 15-year-old girl was the daughter of the lady that he was engaged with. He had broke off the engagement. Actually, I believe he got caught cheating and they broke off the engagement. Probably her. And, she was bitter or what have you. The daughter had been making advances towards him. He said, well, I made a mistake I never told her mother. He said, I just, I would tell her, go on, little girl, go on, you don't want this, So it had been going on for some time. And he said that he never told the mother. So therefore, it made it look, really, really suspect or what have you. Now, that's the story that he told me. I don't know. I'm not an investigator. I'm not a prosecutor or whatever, but that's the story that he told me. So I tell him, I say, look, bro, they going to ride for you, man. I said, he told me they was going to ride for you. I said, not him. He was like, yeah, I figured. He said, man, because I seen that there was a couple of them down here, from my hometown or whatever. I said, look, man, no disrespect to you, bro, but I can't be around this, man. I'm trying to get home to my family. I'm trying to get home to my kids and my loved ones. I was like, man, I got to distance myself, dog. Like, I can't keep kicking it with you because, once that does go down, I'm with you. I'm with you. You see what I'm saying? He was like, man, I feel you, bro. Like, dude was very, very understanding of the situation. Like I said, he stayed in his Bible. He's like, man, all I need is this right here. And he carried, like, in prison, you get like the little small Bibles. They're brown. They got the brown covers, and they're real small. You can keep them in your pocket. He used to keep his Bible like in his pocket right here, and he'd be like, man, this is all I need, man. This is my shield. This is my sword. This is my no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You know, he got the speaking Bible verses or whatever. So kind of dapped it up, man, and that was that. You know, I kind of went my way. He went his way. Miss kicking it with him, man, because like I said, he was a person that I wreck with every day. Play chess with, you know what I'm saying, just talk to. I'm having problems, can't reach my girl, or she's blowing in the wind somewhere, you know. He was, you know, somebody that I actually would speak with and talk to about that situation. Probably, it might have been 2 or 3 days later. He's out on the yard, getting his workout in. Keep in mind, the yard is huge. So there's a lot of things that goes on the yard. And you can't necessarily see everything. It's a lot of blind spots. 4 dudes run up on him. 4 of them. They run up on him. He's on the, he's doing dips. There's a dip bar outside on the rec yard. And he would do all of his exercises on the dip bar. It's crazy, man. Some of the workouts you see in prison. So he's doing dips. They run up on him. When they run up on him, like I said, it's 4 of them, and they nice-sized dudes. They wasn't big like he was, but they wasn't no little dudes either. They run up on him. He's fighting all 4 of them. He's in great shape. He runs, works out 2 or 3 times a day, man. So he's in great shape. I'm seeing this. He's fighting the dudes. And I feel bad, for real, to be honest, because I'm sitting here like, dang, man, I'm his partner, man. He's holding his own. I'm talking about he's holding his own against 4 dudes. Now, obviously, they didn't come to kill him because they didn't have no knives or anything like that. But a couple of them did have the locks in the sock. You take a combination lock, you put it in the sock, wrap it around your hand, and, you know, you go to town on somebody, you know. But the thing about it, you got to connect. You got to be able to actually hit them, you know. And he's fighting them dudes off. He just slung a couple of them around, and he's you know, he's throwing hands. He's throwing them things or whatever. And the fight lasts for a minute. Like I said, it's a big yard. So oftentimes, people would get in a fight, and sometimes the COs, they wouldn't even catch it. Next thing you know, you hear the little alarm go off. When the alarm goes off, sometimes that means everybody down, but that wasn't one of those situations. It was a signal. They were signaling that it was a fight. All the COs, they run out there. They run to the fight. They get there. They make everybody that's involved in the fight, they all got to get down. They probably got sprayed with mace. I believe a couple of them got sprayed with mace, pepper spray. They love to spray you. Even when they don't have to, they'll come out and just spray you anyway. And dude had a couple lumps on him. He was cut up a little bit, man. But, I mean, to be fighting 4 dudes, man, he held his own. Like I said, 6'2", 255. And he was probably heavier than that, man, because all the dude did was eat protein, peanut butter, Jack Mac, tuna, potatoes, anything that was going to give him, you know, size or whatever. He did that. Then he went out there and did his push-ups, his pull-ups, his dips. He ran. So he was in immaculate shape. I don't know why them dudes, man, came for him like that. As far as when you come for somebody, it seemed like you would come correct. You know what I mean? Yeah, they came for him, but they didn't have no knives or nothing like that. And y'all think y'all, it's a gorilla. This dude's a gorilla, man. Like, this dude's a real live gorilla. And he was really whooping all 4 of y'all, man. Only thing that happened was one of the dudes ended up catching him, like, in the side of the head with the lock in the sock. And I think it kind of threw his balance off. So when he goes back, he's trying to, you know, shield himself and cover up. And then a couple of them ran in, they hit him. And then they swung the lock in the sock again. And they hit him again or whatever. But they didn't even split him. I'm sure they wanted to stomp him out, get him on the ground and just stomp him or whatever. They obviously didn't care nothing about going to the hole. They didn't care nothing about no security because they did it right there, broad daylight, the middle of the yard. And all of them end up getting sent to the hole. Now, in the state of Kentucky, if you do something to someone that's accused of a sex act, a sex crime, it's considered a hate act. I don't know if they actually press charges against them dudes. It's considered a hate crime. Hate act, hate crime. So I'm not sure if they ended up pressing charges on them because obviously they couldn't be on the same yard. So they got transferred. They get transferred off the yard. Big G ends up getting out of the hole 15 days. And it's crazy because he was the one that got attacked. He was the one that was defending himself, but yet he still goes to the hole for 15 days for defending himself. And it's clearly on camera. It's clearly, but what they do is they say, oh, well, you're in the hole. You haven't been convicted, but you're under investigation. So until further notice, until we conclude our investigation, you're going to have to sit in the hole. So he does 15 days in the hole, but he doesn't get a conviction. He doesn't get a blemish on his, his prison record or whatever. He got 60 years. I don't think he was really, too concerned with the blemish or whatever. So he ends up getting out of the hole 15 days later. I'm still on the yard. He's waiting to go to the actual, the SO sex offender program. He's actually waiting to go to the program because that's where they send you at. You know what I mean? Now, either you can get in the program or you cannot get in the program. If you don't get in the program, you definitely not going to have an opportunity to get home. Well, what had happened was the reason that he decided to get in is because between the time that he was convicted and the time that I had seen him, he had gotten a little relief. And this was quick because usually appeals take 4, 5 years, sometimes 3. But he had gotten some relief on his sentence to where they went back in. I think they sentenced him wrong or gave him too much time or whatever. So they went back in. And he gave a lot of that time back, which means when you give back time, just basically means they cut time off or whatever because they gave him too much time. He still had a boatload of time, but he had an opportunity to go up for parole a lot sooner to where at first it looked like he was never going to go home. But whatever happened with his appeal, he had to do like 8 years and then go up for parole. So he had an opportunity to actually go home. And I looked him up not too long ago, and he seen the parole board after 8 years, and they gave him a 5-year setback. So it means you got to come back in 5 years, and we'll think about letting you out at that point. So he probably will make it home at some point, but he'll be a registered offender for the rest of his life. And he had decided to go on and go to the sex offender program or whatever. And so he was waiting to go there. He got out of the hole. I seen him. We casually said something to each other. It's not like we just walk right past each other and not say nothing. And, he ended up going to the SO program. And, a few months later, I ended up getting transferred off the yard because my level, see, when you get a write-up, if you do 6 months and you don't get in any trouble, your level goes back down. And so you can go back to a camp or outside detail, something like that. So I ended up going, back to a camp. He was at the SO program. And that's the last time I seen him, man. I haven't reached out to him because I don't know if that's true or not. When I talked to my dude, he was telling me, he was like, man, I know it was your man's, that was your guy, man, but he did that, though. He was like, he wasn't telling you the whole story. He was like, I don't even know why he went to trial. He definitely did that. When they did tests on the little girl, they found his, inside of her or whatever. He definitely was messing with an underage girl. He did that, man. So he was like, man, I was just, because I got love for you, I came to tell you. He said, just think if I didn't tell you, y'all was together, they ran up on both of y'all. You see what I'm saying? Because people, when they see that you with somebody, that's the danger of prison. If me and you are cool, you and I, we have a relationship, a bond, and we kicking it every day, eating, playing chess, walking the loop, or we sellies, whatever it is, my beef becomes your beef and vice versa. And that's the problem because we cool, but I'm trying to make it home. You may be on foolishness, or you may have a bunch of time to where you don't even care anything about going home, because you got so much time. But me, I got 2 or 3 years and then boom, I can be home with my family. But I'm expected to ride with you and ride for you when something pops off in prison because we kick it every day. That's the dangers of prison. That's why you see people like Fleece Johnson, he goes in with a 10-year sentence and ends up doing 40 years, man. It's dangerous, and it's easy to catch more time in prison because you can't allow anybody to disrespect you. You can't, anytime anything happens, guess what? You got to handle it. If you don't, you're going to be, basically you'll become a victim. So you got to handle it. If something really, really happens to you in prison, man, you got to handle it. And it's a very, very dangerous environment, man. It's a very, very dangerous place. You can kick back, not bother anybody. Just try to do your time. But at some point, trouble's going to come your way. Now, when it comes your way, what are you going to do? You're a man of your mouth. So everybody's watching. They're watching. So what's this guy, what's he about? What's he going to do? Is he going to defend himself? Well, here you are in your mind. you want to go do something to this person that did something to you, but it's like, man, I'm trying to get home to my family. I'm not trying to be here and doing all this time and be around a bunch of hard ankles every day. I'm trying to get home to my boo, my kids. You see what I'm saying? Be able to go into my refrigerator whenever I want to. That type stuff. That part. So it's just, it's real easy to find yourself in a trick bag in prison. You know, somebody walks right past you. They ain't got no respect for you, or they got a deep car, meaning that they deep. You know, they 10, 15 people deep, and they see that you only with 1 or 2 people every day, if that. Somebody walks right past you, smack you on your butt. Just to test you, just to see what you're going to do. Now, if you let it go, guess what? He must like it. So now it's going to be, now they're going to squeeze it, palm it the next time. Now it's going to continue to go on and go on. So you got to put down a cold demonstration after they do it the first time. And if that entails you getting more time because you done beat somebody upside the head with a lock in a sock or a can of chili in a sock, then that's just what it is, man. Dangerous, dangerous place, man. Stay out of there. Rough environment, man. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Real Kens TV, man. We out.